It's time to chew the fat. Yeah. Final macronutrient. Let's talk fat. So you got a little introduction to fat during our carb talk and the fact that fat is our slow burning energy source. So fat has a lot of great benefits to the body. One, obviously, is energy. Two, it allows us to balance our hormones. It's actually how we create our hormones. It allows us to absorb fat soluble vitamins, which we otherwise wouldn't be able to. It does provide us with some good insulation when we need it, and it's great for our hair, it's great for our skin. It just has a lot of really good benefits to the body. However, just like any of the other macros, there's only so much we really need. And so if we take in too much fat, we're going to store it and we are going to become fatter. So we really have to understand how to balance it out. So one key thing about fat that's extremely important is the fact that it has over double the calories of a carb or a protein. For every gram of protein or carbs, it's only 4 calories. For every gram of fat, there's 9. So I want to use an example. Let me grab it here. So I've got an avocado. Let me get this out of my face. Let me turn my label. All right, so I've got an avocado and I've got a pear. So my avocado is a little bigger than my pear. They're kind of close, but so this is probably 100 calories. This is probably 400 calories. They're similar in size, but very different calorically because this is mostly carbs, this is mostly fat. So if I want to eat 100 calories of carbohydrates, I can eat an entire pear. If I want to eat 100 calories of an avocado, I can only eat a quarter of an avocado. So it's really important when we think of a serving size, fat is going to be significantly smaller just because you get so many more calories per square inch, let's say, right? So we want to make sure we're getting enough fat to be able to get all of the benefits to the body that we need without eating so much fat that we store it because we're not using that slow burning fuel. So slow burning fuel is great. If you are more sedentary, like we talked about in the carb video, you're not going to be needing fast energy, right? Because you're not going to be doing spurts of activity. You need slow, steady state energy to fuel you through a slow, steady state day. That's when you may be having a diet higher in fat and lower in those starchy carbohydrates, right? Whereas for someone like me, because I do have more carbohydrates, the starchy kind, in my diet due to my activity levels, just from a caloric standpoint and an energy standpoint, I don't need as much fat maybe as someone who's more sedentary. Does that make sense? Because I will need the fast burning fuel, whereas somebody sedentary needs more of that slower burning fuel. So with all of that being said, you really want to take once again a look at your structure. It's all the same thing. You really looking at yourself. Your structure, your size is always going to matter. Your activity level is always going to matter. The type of activity you do is going to matter, just like with protein and carbohydrates. And so if you are more sedentary and you know your starchy carb intake is going to be lower, most likely you're going to be eating a bit more fat than someone who's really active. If there is a marathon runner who is training for that marathon and running miles and miles and miles per day, they need fast acting carbs more than they need slow burning fat. They need the slow burning fat for the other benefits it provides to the body, not necessarily for the energetic requirements or benefits it gives to the body. So take a look at that for fat. Recognize that it's got over double the calories. So maybe you have the same number of calories of fat that you do carbohydrates, but that means you're going to be eating significantly less in quantity fat-wise than you do with carbohydrates. So that way you aren't getting too many in your diet.